Welcome to Networking with Nathaniel. This is episode 110. Holy moly. This is a show where I get to talk to movers and shakers in their respective industries, busy professionals that are just growing in their lives. They come on and they share their struggles, they share their successes, what's working, what's not working, and where they're headed so we can all grow together. So if that's you, you're in that growth mindset, if you're in a place of growth, which we should always be, you've come to the right place. I am Nathaniel Hovsepian. I am a real estate investor. I am a health and wellness coach for dads, for men. I have done millions of dollars of deals in the real estate world. I've helped many dads, many men take control of their health and wellness. But more importantly, I'm a husband and a father of 3 little humans. I am currently walking my own growth journey, but this show is not about me. This is about those guests that I mentioned at the top of this rant. Before we get to introducing our guests today, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, what the heck are you doing? Subscribe to the channel so you can see all the cool stuff, all the cool guests, all the other videos that I've got coming out, because I'm providing you with some more health and wellness value coming up here in the future. So I'm excited to be dropping that for you. Like this video if you would. Without further ado, let's introduce our guest. This is a person that I've come to know a little bit at this point through the Elite Coaching Academy, a mentorship, a community, a group for fitness coaches. And we've been sharing a lot of our conversation on social media. So this is the first time we're actually talking. Well, technically 15 minutes ago was the first time we started talking. So I'm really excited to introduce this amazing person. I almost removed her from the stage, Meagan Rawlings.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I just realized that I did not silence my phone. So let me do that because that will be very annoying.
Reminder too.
I appreciate you for coming on and taking time out of your busy schedule. I know I didn't really mention it in the intro, but you are a health coach as well right now, but your background, and you're still doing this as well, but your background is in dance and choreography. Tell me all about it.
All about me. Let's dive in. Because yes, I grew up dancing, and so I still am a dance teacher and choreographer. I'm actually a director of a competition team out here in Texas at a studio. Actually, the studio that I grew up at and fell in love with dance in the first place. My mom put me into dance because I was actually shy, which is a shocker to people now because I'm so outgoing and loud, and they're like, Meagan, your personality, but I wasn't always like that. So the dance has stayed with me through all 32 years of life, dancing in the womb. Here I am today. Yeah. And so being a dancer and choreographer also led me into the fitness industry. So I started with group coaching, but really loved the one-on-one aspect, and then started my online business. So I have an online business that started really as a brand and a reminder for myself, and that is Mega Moves. It took my name, but the mega part was playing onto the fact of like, everyone deserves to live big and make massive change in their life. So that play on with my name and mega and moves was really something that settled well, because at one point in my journey, I also lost a lot of weight, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to be mega fit. But then that journey didn't stick, and I didn't really identify well with just being fit and removing dance out of my life. So Mega Moves has stuck because movement is anything. And I believe that we can keep that. So with being now, Mega Moves LLC with an online business and in-person training, got married and opened a gym with my husband. So we also have a personal training studio with one-on-one coaching where we train in-person clients and host community workouts and events. We do a lot of holiday events, so we're entering a busy season as we get into October. Because one of our biggest events is around Christmas. We could do a call Sweat with Santa, and so we had a lot of fun success with that, partnering up with a local fire department. My husband is a firefighter, so we just like to give back to the community. And we also have the trainers that rent space from us so they can run their own business inside the gym. So yeah,
Very
gym
cool.
owner, dancer, online coach. I'm an aunt, a wife. No kids
All
yet.
the things.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will being a wife and being an aunt right now is like the best.
Yeah.
My nieces are 3 and 6 months now. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so the 3-year-old is busy, and we had a little shopping date on Monday. Actually, it was like more of like, let me help my brother out and
Yeah,
take him
yeah.
to errands, and it turned
Take them
into
off your hands.
yeah, yeah. So I love that, but a lot on my plate, but just really trying to, you know, live Megan, and make mega moves a statement for people.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot there.
a lot.
Ooh.
I'm a lot.
Well, no, to unpack, and you brushed over a couple things so quickly that they're just kind of secondary to you. I think that people might miss that, you mentioned the I use the word abundance, we want to live mega.
Yeah,
And for me, for a long time here, abundance has always been like money, money, money.
sure.
And then you go, well, I have an abundance of joy, I have abundance in my family, in my relationships, I have an abundance of time and faith, and all these things are abundance.
Hmm.
And so I love that this mega moves, mega life is kind of wrapped around that, because it's not always about money for sure, but it's not always about like six packs and the big biceps or whatever. I talk speaking from a guy
No, for
standpoint.
sure.
It's about everything. It's about the time and the presence and the faith and the energy. And
Hmm.
then you mentioned the movement as like you're living that movement is not just going to the gym for an hour and a half. Like it
Yeah.
can be, and there is a place for that for sure,
Hmm.
especially as we're getting older.
Hmm.
Weight training is very crucial, but movement can be just going for a walk. It can be dancing for 20 minutes, put on your favorite,
Hmm.
DJ, and we'll just
Yeah.
go shuffle
Have a
around the
party.
house for a little bit. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. It's part of what I do. Is like sometimes I've taken breaks from doing a workout because the song came on and I noticed, hey, the little guy is starting to jiggle over there. Let me
Oh my
dance
gosh.
with him.
Great for
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Just
It's so fun.
I teach kids. I teach older kids now as I stepped into that like director company position.
Mm,
But one of my favorite classes to teach was like a 6 to 9 hip hop class, because that music comes on and then they're so free. And that is
yeah.
such a good reminder as an adult that like we still need to have childlike energy throughout
Mm,
life. And I think
yeah.
that's like my biggest thing in creating mega moves is like I know how it feels to kind of hide myself from the world. I was criticized through dance, what my body looked like, and you're not a good enough dancer unless you lose X amount of weight, or hey, it just became very hard as a dancer to stare at yourself in the mirror for the amount of hours that we were training, and then
Mm,
to grow into being a woman and dealing with all of those things, and being told kind of not kind of very incorrect information on how to handle your health as an
mm,
athlete, because people forget. And I think even educators within dance, when I was growing up with it, at least I think it's getting better, were very misinformed on what it was to treat an athlete, and how like dancers are athletes at the end of the day. We are really exuding a lot of energy and a lot of stamina, and having to make everything look easy. And they would just say, eat less or do this and do more. And that did not settle well with my body. So I struggled with that a ton
yeah.
throughout college. Um, to the point I forced myself to graduate early so I could get out of college. I was like,
Yeah.
I grew up, well, even more backstory. So I grew up in a Catholic school from like first to eighth grade. And then
Okay.
going into high school, I went to performing arts high school. So imagine a very conservative Catholic school where you wear your uniform every day. And then jumping into a very free environment, artsy fartsy world. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm in Texas, but am I still in Texas stepping
Mm,
into this? school, but I loved it. I think
Yeah.
that's where I started to feel a lot of creativity for myself and lean into that choreography aspect. I realized, hey, this is where I have a potential to grow as a dancer and to push myself to going to college for it and making a career out of it. I'm very, very thankful for my high school experience, but high school was for that setting and being part of a magnet high school. I went to Booker T. Washington High School for the Performing and Visual Arts, very long name, here in Dallas, Texas, and it's very prestigious. And I'm so thankful for that high school. But I felt like it was college. So when I went to college, I wanted progression from that. And that didn't happen in college. I just kind of got criticized of what my body wasn't. I wasn't a typical body type for dance per se, but also in today's day and age, what is the typical body type? I wasn't going to be a ballerina. I knew that. I knew that throughout my journey in high school because a ballet teacher told me, hey, that's not going to happen for you. And I was okay with that because I liked hip hop and jazz and modern and all these different styles. And I just, leaned into more of me then through dance. But it just kind of always stopped when my body wasn't a certain way. And looking back at pictures now as an adult, I'm like, why was I so hard on myself then? Like it's the things I do now is really for my younger self. And I just sometimes want to go back and hug her because those places were dark. I know what it is to hide your body. I don't want to hide my body. To feel like you're not enough, like that feeling of not enough just really sucks. I don't know what other feeling to describe it besides that, but the world needs you. The world needs people. The world needs you to be there for your family. And if you're constantly drained with your own thoughts and that you're not enough and those are on repeat in your head, that is blocking you from all the joys of life. Life is already hard. So if you already have that in your head constantly, you can't see the good things in life. Yeah. And that's kind of where I was. And it took, a few friends in dance being like, Meagan, anytime I tried to go on a diet, okay, let's talk about that. Let's, try this diet, do that diet. Cause I was always trying to lose the same 20 pounds that they wanted me to lose. And, I would listen to what they said and I would kind of go into this fog. I don't even know. Because I wasn't educated on it. And they weren't educated on it because all this advice that they give me just removed my personality completely. It was where is Meagan? My friends were like, this is what you're doing is crazy. And I would just remember well, I have to lose weight. We got to go to the gym. I got to do this. So I always have to remember myself where I started because the version that I am now today is so vastly different. And the things that I've done, I've never thought I would do, stepping on a bodybuilding stage was how did I even have that thought in my mind to do that? Because I would hide in my body, wear extra sweats in dance class. And now I'm stepping on stage in a bikini, judge me for my body. I was judged for my body in dance. And now I'm asking for you to judge my body. That's crazy. But I found so much joy.
From a Catholic background too, right? That's pretty.
Catholic background. Yeah. My Catholic mother was like, what are you doing stepping on stage? Basically naked in these heels. I'm like, sorry, Mom, but we're going to do this because it's making me happy and I feel confident in my body. And that feeling, my first bodybuilding show and even my first prep, that was very electric. I did something for myself that I thought I couldn't do. And I knew for a fact other people knew I couldn't do it. And I think that lit a fire in me because I also did it in a way that was better for me. Bodybuilding to an extreme is not necessarily healthy, but the fundamentals of it are you're eating enough, you're training all that stuff. It's the longevity of it that gets, unhealthy, if you say. For
What was
me,
the? Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, yeah. No, for me, bodybuilding literally saved me in a way. Like, it fixed my relationship with food. And that doesn't happen a lot for athletes. I really am thankful for life leading me in that direction.
Yeah. Or
God.
Well, what flipped? What changed? Did you hire a coach? How did you end up finding the right path? Because eating no food or very little food and working out a lot is a recipe for disaster. You don't get to a bodybuilding stage by not eaing.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So what changed? What did you end up doing that ended up working?
Yeah. Well, I'll back up even a little bit before that, because I kind of went through my own bodybuilding prep, if you will, when I was in LA. And this was during a period I was a part of a scholarship program, and I was dancing all the time, and I was already in a good workout routine because my roommate, I owe a lot to her, and she's one of my best friends. We were in each other's weddings. She is more on the functional fitness side of things, working with pro athletes on the NBA level and getting, young athletes to college and very sports specific stuff. But she was also a dancer, but decided to put dance on the back seat very early on, and was getting was the one who motivated me to get my stuff together in the gym without having it to be what am I trying to say? A negative, it was a very positive, hey, this is fun. Let's work on your nutrition in this way. I think when you live with someone who's walking a path that makes sense, you can pick up some habits. And so I really owe a lot to her for helping me start that journey. Unfortunately, Meagan, took it to the extreme level, meaning I was part of this scholarship program. I was, at this point in time, the fit dancer of the group, which was ironic because I was the one who needed to lose 20 pounds, became the fit dancer. I entered into this fake bodybuilding prep, didn't even know about it, but I needed to lose X amount of extra weight or inflammation for a photo shoot, because the photographers out in LA were like, if you're going to be a fit model, you can't have an ounce of fat on you. And I was like, okay, I want to be signed to an agency so bad. I'll do anything. And so I got to a point where I was like, dang, I can't believe I did that. But I was so unhealthy. Thin hair, lost a period for a year, that type of stuff. There was no support in entering that phase or getting out of that phase. And I was dancing so much. So when the point that I stopped dancing so much because the program ended, and then you have to afford life in LA. So the stress was really high, and it's okay. I gained that weight back, and it wasn't pretty. I was very inflamed, very sad again. This is when Mega Fit became Mega Moves, because I was like, dude, I got to start from square one. At this point, I got asked to be, I was working at a front desk at a fitness gym, and then asked to coach classes, because they were like, your energy is great. You can be on the microphone, educate. It was one of those treadmill classes where you're on the treadmill yelling at people and then doing the workout on the ground. I was like, yeah, this is great. I got my Britney Spears mic, and I can yell at people, play the right music. They just loved my energy, So I was like, cool. Let me go get my certification real quick, and then I'll do classes. So as I was working on that, I really loved it. Then became a coach at an F45, because those started growing like crazy out in LA, and became a head coach out there. I was like, okay, this is not for me either. And then really kind of struggled until COVID happened, and COVID moved me back to Texas. And this is when, I think, when everything shut down, my brain was able to clear the noise of what do I really want? What is it that Meagan wants to do? To be honest, if COVID didn't happen, I think I might still be out in LA kind of running the same rat race. Because I saw people 10 years older than me then doing the same thing. And I was like, no, 10 years from now, I want to be married. I want to be starting a family, or at least close to starting a family, to have my life a little bit more together than it is right now. Like, does it feel like that? I think we're always trying to get our life together.
Yeah, it's always needs to be more together.
I have a conversation with my sister-in-law today, and she's, two girls. And I'm like, I don't know how y'all do it. She goes, Meagan, I don't know how I do it. I was like, but anyway, sidetrack. I can go on so many different paths. But
that's all right. Yeah.
The getting to the bodybuilding stage was during 2020, the fall of that year. So heading in December, heading into 2021. So Texas opened up before like anyone, and I went to go work out. And when I went to go work out, I got asked to be a trainer in a gym. And I was like, no, I've been through this before. I don't want to be a personal trainer in a gym. I already knew how it was going to play out, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll say yes. Need to work a little bit. I don't know if I'm going back to LA or not. Let's make a little bit of money. Let's just whatever. I got clients, and I got clients quick with the in person. I started training with all the guys at the gym, and they're like, Meagan, you need to do a show. You need to do this. And I was like, I was on a different type of diet at that time. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Optavia? No. Yeah. So like if there's a diet out there, I've done it. And because I think a lot of people my age, a lot of women my age probably fall to that, because of just, we didn't grow up with Instagram. That came out when I was in college, but we grew up with the magazines and the workout videos, the Insanity DVD or CD, those things. You get your pack of like, I also remember hip hop abs, like Sean T, and now he's done a bodybuilding show. I'm like, dude, you did not get your abs from hip hop abs, brother. I'm like, you lied to me.
The guy from P90, I had P90. I still have P90X probably on
P90X. That's the one I was trying to. Yes, I mean, all in it. Like I also was athletic, so like I just am abnormally strong. So like for me too, like I'd go into the gym and I could lift a lot of weight. So all these guys were like, Meagan, why are you stronger than me? I was like, well, why are you weak? I don't know. To me, it wasn't abnormal, I'm the oldest of two brothers, and my brothers always joke that we're like farm people, that we're just country people, that you just have that build that can push a lot of weight because we're meant to be on farm. Texas, I guess.
But, that's right.
But they were baseball players, and so where was I headed? So again, down a path, but
Octavia.
Yes, that was all packaged food. Okay, so and I think it helps with like portion. You could eat a meal on it, but I started training like that, and like and eating that way, and I was like, dude, this is not enough. Like, what do I need to do? And so I was like, I started asking questions like, what does a bodybuilding prep look like? Like, I know I'm not eating the way that I want to for life, but I've always struggled with my body. What I did back in LA is not sustainable. I can't dance for 8 hours a day and train and do all this stuff. But I loved my body then, or at least I thought I did, but I also need to like love myself again through this process, like love where I'm at so I can like keep it and not let it go. I don't want to like feel like I let myself go again. So I just started asking questions, and then managers at my gym flip-flopped. Okay, so there's a few locations. It's called Blank. They aren't open in our area anymore, but I think there's still some locations around the United States. And she was full of energy, clicked with me right away. She goes, you need to talk to this guy, Adam. I was like, okay, what about? Well, he's done a few bodybuilding shows. He's done them natural. Like, just talk to him about it. And I'm like, okay. Fast forward the story a little bit. Adam is my now husband. Okay. So meet this guy, Adam. Meet this guy, Adam. And we actually didn't meet in person. We had a phone call because at this time in his life, he's getting his fire certification. So this is summer of COVID. We're training people. I got a lot of clients really early on. that momentum was picking up. I was really happy training people in person, but I still had it in the back of my head, like, hey, I'm going back to LA. Talk to Adam on the phone about what does bodybuilding look like. So enthusiastic about it. Get Adam on a topic that he wants to talk about. He will talk about it. And I was like, this bodybuilding thing sounds fun. Okay.
Yeah.
I had no clue what I was getting myself into. Okay. Yeah. You've seen pictures and I'm like, you know what? I can do this. I can do hard things. What else is going on in the world? I said, okay. Talked to his coach one time because he gave me his information. And I said, yeah, let's jump into a prep. Let's do this thing. Like, teach me.
Mega.
Yeah, full force, just like not maybe the smartest thing at first. Like, probably should have learned what this was all about before doing that. Because the next, you know, to each their own. I learned so much through the process. And then Adam was like, you're working with the coach? When did you decide to do that? I said, brother, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I didn't give myself a ton of time to think about it, but I think that's the beauty in it, because the more that you sit and wait, and I tell people this when they're looking for, you know, training or coaches, I was like, there's a ton of coaches out there, but the longer that you wait for the perfect thing, it's gonna, like, you're gonna keep pushing it off. And I don't want, it's never too late, but also know that like you putting it off is also a sign of something that you need to work on. So, because every great thing that I've done has taken like little thought. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to dive in and make this happen for myself. And so that prep was a really great experience. After talking with Adam on the phone, we started training together, and then we started hanging out together. And then, you know, now we're married.
Just train together, one conversation. I do.
Yeah. No, we just aligned with a lot, and our families aligned with a lot, like, and, you know, I think coming back from LA during that time frame too, I knew what I wanted in a family. I just didn't know how life would fit in with how the industry is and how, or at least at that time, because COVID changed a lot for a lot of people. And I think it was a really blessing in disguise for me. I know it's not like that for everyone, but I definitely was led on a more clearer path and was told that it is okay, that the life that you envisioned for yourself is different than what's happening now. And I think that is just like, you know, the power of God and leaning more into my faith, because that's been a journey in itself too. And I think leaning in more with that and making it all align, there's something to say too for your nervous system and not feeling so rushed in life when you compare all of that together. You know, not using, you know, faith as a default, but actually using it to guide you, and surrender yourself. Because I was really, really fighting with the idea of moving back home. I associated that with failure, like failure of not making it in the dance industry. And, you know, I'm a person that, you know, if I'm going to go do something, I want to do it. Like, I don't want to fail. And sometimes those feelings still come up. I'm like, I didn't do in dance, or if I just did this. And I really have to make sure that the rewiring in my brain takes place, because that sets you up for failure again and again and again. If you can take your experiences and understand the beauty of what that experience was, then it's going to play out into your next season of life. And so that season of life in LA, like, I told myself, hey, this is the goal and this is what I want. But was I actually really happy and thriving? Because when I tell you, like, when I moved back and I was doing all these things, so many friends from LA were like, Meagan, you just look so happy. You just look like this was the perfect thing for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't understand. Because in my own head was, you know, you're going to get back to it. You're going to do this and you're going to do that. And dance always comes back in its weird way. And to this day, you know, 5 years now back in Texas, and I'm doing a ton with dance, a ton with coaching, the more that I jump into coaching, the more that happens with dance. The more that I do with dance, the more happens with coaching. And I'm like, okay, put me where you need me. But I also think that's the beauty of sharing how I grew up and what I went through, because I also, set choreography and teach girls who are young, and I remember I see myself in them. Like at 13, they're already talking about their bodies, and I can change that language for them, because
Yeah.
for me, I had those thoughts at 13. For me, I was doing those P90X videos at a very young age, and just like way too aware almost of like what my body wasn't. And I really try to portray in my coaching and in my dance classes, especially with young ones who are saying things that they don't even realize that they're saying, that, hey, this is what you need to celebrate. And this is what you need to be proud of. Because if you're going down this path of picking things apart, it's really detrimental. And I see that with so many kids, especially today, because now they did grow up with social media and Instagram and so many things at their fingertips and filters. And it's just, it makes me really sad, because I know how much pressure I put on myself without all that, and they have that.
Yeah, we only had the magazine. I mean, I'm 10 years older than you almost, right? I almost said at this point, like that's going to change. We're going to catch up with it, baby.
Right, catch up. I'm catching up.
I did. I just grew up with the magazines, and that's what I mean, it was always the typical, models, men and female, male and female. And that has changed over the last decade or so with the whatever you like, body complex or however you want it, and body shaming has gone away, and maybe to a certain extent it needs to come back a little bit. But and the body positivity kind of thing, and then when people make it's famous people, right? I think you mentioned Lizzo before we went live, but my mind goes to Adele. Whenever 10 years ago that she got healthy and like decided, okay, this isn't healthy the way I am right now. I'm gonna go down this path. Hopefully she did it in a healthy way, but then all this hate comes, and you're like, why are we getting hate for her taking charge of her health and wanting to be here for a lot longer period of time? Because it doesn't matter. I want you to be happy in your body, and I'm not talking to you specifically. I mean, I want you to be happy in your body. But
talking to the people,
we like, when you're talking about somebody that's 600 pounds, I hope they're happy in their body, but also it's not healthy. You're not going to be here for long, and you're not going to be happy for very long if you don't do something about it.
Right.
I love that you're instilling these things in these young ladies early on, because the words that we say to ourselves matter so much. And so how are you navigating those conversations with these young women? I mean, you can't just be like, hey, don't say that. I guess maybe you can.
I know.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful. But now they know my personality. I would say I'm really lucky that the studio that I'm at, it's this year's my third season being their consistent teacher. I've always come in beforehand and done classes or whatnot, so they've known me for a little bit longer, but I feel like I've known these kids for way more than 3 years. And I think that's a blessing, but can also be very tricky to navigate conversation about how they're feeling and how they're like, just how to better themselves as a person. Because my lane when I'm in that studio is for dance. And they're not coming to me for coaching. They're not coming to me for this. Does my coaching come through dance? Absolutely. They see how I live my life. I bring my food with me to dance. I bring my gallon of water to dance. I eat the way that I eat at full day competitions, and they see that and ask questions, and I will share that information, and I will tell them, hey, you need to eat more protein to do this. And because kids have such access to also all this fast food, and I think that's part of the problem with their negative mindset. I can tell in their face and their emotion, and if this is a day that I need to be kinder to them, or if it needs to be a day that I need to push them, because that's also my role too. I think we are in a generation where we've been a little soft, and I would love to see it be a little bit more competitive, but it also has to be done correctly, because my generation was different. I saw this reel one time where it's like, hey, these generation of dancers are not the same the way I grew up, because I told you, I was told to lose X amount of weight and do X amount of this, and that wasn't great for me, but also look where I am now. So I'm thankful for my journey, but there's a way to do it that is between the two, not just give everyone a trophy and say, hey, this is beautiful, when it wasn't. And also hey, and so making them aware of their work ethic and what it means to get to where they say they want to go. I think that's the biggest discussion with clients and dancers, is like, hey, you tell me you want to win, first place overall Miss United States, this trophy, right? This award. Well, what kind of work is that going to bring? And this is what I will lay out that path for you, but you need to audit yourself, and you need to know and ask yourself, hey, was I giving 1% better today? And if your mindset is blocking you from that, I do make them do affirmations. I can tell when girls are picking out that outfit if they're wearing something that's a little bit more uncomfortable for them. I think I see these things because I was this girl, and so if you're, say, these company girls especially, they're probably taking dance for hours when they're there. So that's a lot of hours to stare at yourself in the mirror and critique yourself. Hey, we're supposed to critique yourself, but the mirror is your friend, not your enemy. So I try to remind them of that. I turn on a song that's, I really love, like Sigur Rós, or something that is like a little bit meditative, something that will bring their energy down a little bit, because they're also getting out of school and they're like chatty. I'm like, y'all are here to focus. Bring it in. And I make them stare at themselves in the mirror, make them look at themselves. And some of the kids hate it, or at least did in the beginning, but then they appreciate it, because I just talk to them as they are either laying on the ground with their eyes closed, staring at themselves in the mirror, and then we'll start class. It's really more of it, reading the room, reading their energy, seeing what they need, kind of a set. I mean, and teenagers talk, man. These girls, I'm just like, what's going on? Like, I don't need you to tell me. I don't want to know, but you hear information, and if there's any sort of cattiness going on, I try to just stop it. And it can be cattiness between each other, or cattiness between themselves. I'm like, we don't do that language here. And with the little ones, because I do teach some 6-year-olds still, if the words I can't come out of their mouth, I make them do push-ups. I'm like, I don't care. Push-ups. They're like, and Miss Meagan made us do push-ups because I'm like, you're not going to say the word I can't. I'm not going to have it. But that's just my own experience with how I talk to myself. And sometimes it becomes funny now, because my eyes will quickly like turn to the side of the room if I hear something that I don't like, and they're like, I didn't say that. And I'm like, well, what did you say? I'm like, you tell me what you really said. And then they change their language, and he's like, I can do this. I'm like, that's right.
This is a part of the reason why I started the coaching and the fit fatherhood is what you're talking about right now, is that we need to instill these things in these young people. And
yes,
like, I could go teach kids, but I can connect better with a dad who then goes and instills them in his kids. Absolutely. And I feel like by touching one, I end up touching many that way. And that stuff trickles down. And there's you mentioned I think you said soft, and it reminded me of this. Hard men create soft times create soft men, and then soft men create hard times. And I grew up in the soft. soft time. Like
Yeah.
the soft men were creating soft times. I was in the changing of it, where everybody, as I was getting into getting into and out of high school, that's when it really started. Everybody's getting a trophy. Everybody gets a participation award. You know, we should all get a pat on the backs, but there's a winner in sports. There's a
Yeah.
winner in competition. Like, and we need to understand that, because that breeds competitiveness and the desire to improve and do better. And so, you know, we are in a little bit of that, unfortunately, the soft times, and I think that's creating the hard times, and it is like an 80-year cycle typically. And so, unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. But I love that you're kind of reframing that, because I can't becomes how can I, or how do I, or just I can. Like I just haven't figured it out yet, and that's the 3-year-old doesn't quite understand that yet. But he's just like, I need your help, Dad.
Yeah, no, for sure. But they are so in tune. Watching my 3-year-old niece, I mean, that girl is the way that she is because of her parents too. Like, and she's outside and loves to be outside and is not tied to a tablet, because you do see some 3-year-olds who are. And it's like, okay, I know how addictive my phone is as an adult. Like, I can't imagine that that's now how our kids are growing up. And I don't want that for my future kids. I pray so hard for the kids I don't have yet. Like, I'm like, what's the world gonna be like?
I love that.
Like, I have no idea, and I hope I'm capable of all the things to be able to provide for them, so they have that. Like, my brother is a pilot, and my sister-in-law has the beautiful opportunity to stay at home. So there's a lot of one-on-one time. And, you know, I'm not in that position right now, but I also have this movement with Mega Moves where I can. And so that's pretty much why the reason me and my husband started a gym, and to do things our way so we can create a family and be, you know, I'd set our own rules, more or less. You know, his firefighter thing, he can't set his own rules, but like right now, that is what he needs to do. And that's a beautiful mission that he got called to do at, you know, a young age as well. And so all these things are going to teach us to be better things in life. And as a parent, and what you're teaching your fathers that come to you, is how to be a good leader, and how to not just be able to achieve their goals, but how to achieve their goals and also be a good person. Because I've also taken some clients through bodybuilding preps, and I've told them this will be the hardest thing you ever do. And if you don't love yourself right now, you're not going to love yourself at the end of it. And everything is just going to be harder. And I need you to be thankful every day and remind yourself that you chose to do this, that you chose to do your cardio and workouts and eat in a deficit, and things are going to get not fun. But you chose to step on stage, and you have the ability to step on stage, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that. And so flipping the script of being able to grow through your fitness is so beautiful to me, because you get stronger as a person than as you're working on the physical side of it.
You mentioned and again, like, I think that you're just so in tune with these things right now that you kind of just say it real quick, and it could be missed. So I want to make sure that if you don't love yourself now, going through this prep and getting on stage and getting the body that you want you're not going to love yourself then.
Correct.
And like that is everything. Being able to start from here, like, I want you to get to the body that you want. I want you to lose the weight. I want you to have the energy, but we have to be able to love ourselves now, because all that other stuff doesn't matter. It's like when, you know, I was talking earlier about the abundance around money. Like, I could go make the millions and millions of dollars and still be unhappy, because that's not what makes you happy, because I'm not realizing all the abundance that I have right now. And so being able to reframe that. And I did want to say that, you know, from this conversation and from the conversations that we've had previously, if you're blessed with having kids, you're going to do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
I pray for that. And that's, you mentioned the praying for that as well. Is like, from a parenting standpoint, is one of the things that I pray over the kids from time to time is that, you know, they're becoming the person that God wants them to become. And if he's blessing them with a partner, that partner is becoming the person that God wants them to become. And like when I heard somebody say that, I'm like, oh my goodness. So because I want to grow and I want to be, but I want them to be growing. And then if they have a partner, I want them to be worthy of them. So they need to be growing too. So please, Lord, be watching out for them. I love that. It reminded me.
Well, and that's been a part of my like faith journey too, because I will say I struggled with my faith for a long time. I mean, I think I took my Catholic faith for granted because I grew up in it. We never missed a Sunday. My mom would never. And I went to a Catholic school, so I had Mass on Thursday, Mass on Sunday, and then I took it for granted, so didn't really learn all that I probably should have, or digested all of the information as I should have. And so when I went off to college, I didn't find a church that felt like home, even though all Catholic churches, you're getting the same reading, and that's the importance of Mass, is to hear, you know, from the Bible. But I wanted it to feel like home. And so things drifted away. I think like most college kids do, you get more involved with your friend group and, you know, partying for the first time. And coming from a very conservative background, that was all new to me too. And then LA was just like everyone out for themselves, a dog eat dog world. You have Scientology buildings popping up on every corner, and or the churches that were like the big mega churches. And I'm like, dude, you were shaking your butt and getting blacked out last night, and now you're here praising God. And, you know, not that I'm not judging, but like, I just know too much of, and then now you're putting God's name behind it. I really struggled with consistency with going to Mass in LA. And then I would say, honestly, getting married and my niece being born was like, oh, we're getting into the faith. Okay. My niece was born first because she's 3, and we've been married for almost 2 come next month. So when she was born, I was ready to have kids then. I was like, oh my gosh, like my brother kicked me out of his house. Like the true like auntie that was like, hey, I'm here. I didn't call. I just showed up. Okay. And I had clients at the time, and my brother's like, don't you have clients? I was like, hey, they know Walker was born. Like, I'm here holding my niece. What are you talking about? Like, and I would just sit and help. And I don't know, that my heart just burst. And, you know, Adam at the time was like, I can tell you're ready for kids. Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, we're not engaged. We're not, got engaged later that year. Cause you know, we both want kids. And, you know, if it were up to me, I probably would have gotten married a lot younger, but my path was different. And because my brother is younger than me. And so to see him with 2 little girls, it's just like, you know, I can't wait to be a mom. I didn't have that like desire necessarily, or like the can't wait part until my niece was born. I was like, oh yeah, we want this sooner than later. And now I have 2 nieces. But then going through, in the Catholic faith, you go through marriage counseling basically, but it's specific to the church, and going through and learning more about that and what marriage means, you know, within the church and not just what it means to yourself was really beautiful. And something that I was like, okay, your life is meant way more than for you. And the purpose for getting married is also to help each other get to heaven and to get up more people, you know, on that right path. And, you know, I am thankful for that. And my other brother is actually 10 years younger. And if he chooses to, I mean, he's the one who didn't get the Catholic education, but he knows theology more than any of us. And that's when I started to realize I took my Catholic education for granted.
Yeah.
And the way he knows and can understand the Bible and then also talk about it. He has a podcast too, actually, and that he just started, and I'm very proud of him for that because he's getting his master's right now in psychology, and just and just going to be able to lead a lot of men through their way of thinking and also being faith forward in it. If he wanted to, like, he could go be a priest type of guy. Which I laugh about because I'm like, brother, you can dance. Like,
it all comes back to dance.
Catholic vibe going on. But I just think, the more you go through stuff too, and the more that you don't recognize where your gifts come from, the harder things are. And like my sweet Grammy, so my mom's mom, so that's where the Catholicism comes in. She's like, sweetie, you need to go to church, in her Southern accent, she's like, you need to go to church and we're praying for you. And I'm like, yes, Grammy, I know. Yeah. But she's right, she's so right. Not all of your, what is something that is said that hit me really hard? All of your prayers are answered, just maybe not the way that you thought they would be.
Yeah.
And that,
the way you want. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think also too, when world events happen, you struggle with your faith, and life is hard, and you ask questions like, why am I going through this? Why is the world going through this? Asking why put me in a really bad place. And so instead of asking why, it's more of just like, okay, this is my time to pray then, because the why turned into a cycle, and the cycle turned into a meltdown. And then and then like to pick yourself up from a meltdown time and time again is exhausting, so
I like the sitting with the why question is like worrying in a sense, and it's just like kind of praying for the things that you don't want. And I love this. I don't know if you saw, I recently did a reel on it. There's this old Chinese parable, and to cut it short, there's a farmer and a son, and some things happen. Like the horse, they lose their horse. The horse comes back. The son breaks his leg. A general comes over, and each time the son or the people in the village are like, oh, this is the worst thing ever, or this is the best thing ever. And the farmer just goes, good, bad, who knows?
Yeah.
And it's like just lifting it up. And it's a Chinese parable. I looked at it as like, we don't know what the heck his plan is.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And even if he laid it out in front of me, what? And so just taking it with, this is where we're at. I like, like kind of like you said, this is where we're at right now. I'm just going to take the next steps, the next best action that I can take, and trust that his plan's going to work the way he wants it to work. I just it doesn't mean that I can just sit here and not do anything.
Correct.
Right?
You have to put in your effort, but
I still have to take action.
Yeah. It's the let go, let God mentality. Your worries can be put to the side, but you still need to go out and do your job, because we are here for a reason. I think everyone has the same opportunity as the next person. And within our ECO program, I think we see that on a day-to-day basis. And we're so lucky to be surrounded by people who are so eager to get to the next level. And we're led by a lot of people who are at that level that said, hey, I was just like you. And this mindset that you need to work through is on you. And because I was there, but look where I am at today. And I think that is amazing, but it can also be intimidating. But you have to lead down to the path of, I can have this for me too.
Yeah. You mentioned it earlier on, that I forget exactly how you said it, living with somebody who's walking the path. You were referencing your friend.
Yes.
And I've been the part of Sub 2, this real estate community that I'm in. It's the best real estate community there is on earth. There's like when I joined, there was like 4,000 or 5,000 people in it. And that was a lot. There's like 20,000 plus people, but it's all just uplifting, mindset, positivity, sharing ideas, collaborating. And now I go and join ECA. they're the greatest fitness community that there is, and it is that it's a community. There's, I mean, I don't know how many different chats we have going at any given time, but
Yeah,
it's all
it's
people
insane.
sharing wins and trying to go, hey, critique, what do you think about this? Not because
Mhm.
I know you're going to judge me and call me a whatever name, but because
Right.
you know that I'm trying to grow, and I'm you know, when we could grow together. So I love that community aspect of it, and that's something
Yeah,
that's really important to growth, is being around those
exactly. I was
people.
gonna say
I
it's
am realizing we're coming up on the hour, so I got to ask you.
okay.
I think that you may have already answered this first one, but I'm going to ask it anyway just to make sure that we're
Yeah.
clear. What's the biggest life lesson you've learned, and how did you learn it?
I think I did answer it, and I'll try to reiterate it correctly. But you won't love your body
Hmm.
now,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
or you won't love your future body if you don't love it now. Um, and that took me a long time to learn
yeah.
through just kind of like hating myself through the process. And you have to love the process and enjoy the journey of the process. Is the process always fun? Absolutely not. And you can replace body with anything. You know, you can
Yeah,
replace it with how we're improving in our coaching.
yeah.
Do I love every aspect of it? No, I'm really uncomfortable.
Means you're on the right path. Yeah.
Yeah, but it means that exactly, and to lean
Yeah.
into that uncomfortability because growth takes that part of you, and to also just jump in. The best things I've done in life was when I've jumped in and let go, let God. That
Yeah.
life lesson of like loving your body though, in a way that was conducive to your health, because we also touched a little bit on like that body positivity movement and kind of how that is flip-flopped its meaning and everything. But to love the version of yourself that you're staring in the mirror every day. If you wake up and you're already starting to speak negative when you look at yourself while you brush your teeth, then that sets your day up for massive failure. Like, we need to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror, love that body in order to grow, because you won't love that body in that growth phase. Once it's completed at the end of the journey, you won't appreciate it. It will go away.
Hmm. Yeah, just because you love it doesn't mean you don't want it. You don't desire change too, right? I still can love
Correct.
myself and say I want to grow still. When if you could have dinner with
Yes.
anybody throughout history, living or dead, and last week's answer was a fun one.
Oh,
What would
really?
yeah, who would it be, and what would you want to talk about?
Oh my
No
goodness.
pressure.
No pressure. See, yeah, this question stresses me out because like I'm like, can I just have a big table?
Uh,
Because I have the dance side of me that has a lot of questions.
okay.
I have all these things besides Jesus himself,
Yeah.
because I want to know
Yeah.
why certain things happened. I'm a huge empath. Okay, I
Yeah.
feel so many emotions. If I see someone going through it, someone close to me,
Mm,
or whatnot, I would like I said, we will never know why. um,
yeah.
or the reasoning behind certain tragedy, but that's it. But as far as like
Mm.
someone that I could probably, ooh, man. Okay. Okay, wait. No, I have a dream in life. Yeah, this came to me. See,
Okay.
I have a dream. I have a dream.
Yeah.
I want to be on Kelly Clarkson's talk show. Okay.
Okay.
I want to have my own talk show one day. Okay. I
Okay.
love me some Kelly Clarkson. She's a Texas girl. Okay. Her
Yeah.
energy, I get compared to her a lot. Okay. People
Okay.
tell me, hey, I listened to Kelly Clarkson and I thought of you, and I'm honored. Okay. Honored.
Yeah.
I love her music. I choreographed to her music. I saw her in her Vegas residency. When, yeah, when
I
was
couldn't
that?
tell you one Kelly Clarkson song.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well,
We got to play a
I
song.
know she like won, maybe was it American Idol 2
Yes,
or oh no.
she won American Idol. I watched her
Yeah.
on American Idol. Okay,
I
listen.
know that if you played like her top songs, I would know them, but I couldn't.
Yes. One of her
Yeah,
top songs is called Because of You. I choreographed that on the kids that I work with now, and they won everything with it. And it's not them winning everything with it that made it special, but I choreographed that because of something that I went through in my life. And it was very mature for them to be dancing at that, but they still related to it so well that it was like, Kelly's my girl. I love Kelly. I love me some Kelly Clarkson. She's
okay,
fun.
we're gonna get this video in front of her.
Yes, get me in front of Kelly Clarkson, okay? I love her.
I love it. I definitely know the song you're talking about, and I'm not gonna sing on Networking with Nathaniel. Not Kelly Clarkson, at least. It's something about the sidewalk. I'll never leave from the sidewalk.
Yes, because of you. I'll sing. Can I sing?
Okay,
I'll
go
never
for it,
stray too far from the sidewalk. Okay. My brothers make fun of me. They're like, Megan, that's not even the
Just
lyrics.
stick to dancing. But no, I'm just kidding.
I stick to dancing. You make up your own lyrics to songs. I'm like, I do. I really.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, I'm a girl that loves country music, hip hop music. My playlist is all over the place.
I like the, you started kind of on the Jesus answer there. And I love the Jesus answer because there's so much that we could learn from it, but also like we've learned so much already.
Yeah.
There's so much, okay. Last question. Everybody on Networking with Nathaniel has been asked this question.
Okay.
Before I get to that, what's the best way for people to connect with you?
Yes, connect with me. Everything is at Mega Moves, MEAGA, like my name, Moves. So that's my Instagram, that's my TikTok, that's my YouTube. Yeah, that's how they can connect.
I mean, especially for it's a great place for anybody, but especially for women to come and just see that you're comfortable in your own skin. From this conversation, it wasn't something that you were born with or happened overnight. As a matter of fact, it sounds like the world kind of made you uncomfortable in your own skin, and then you had to go through some stuff to get to this place. And just like I said it in my story this morning, just you're contagious. Like your attitude, your personality, it's contagious. It just is bleeding through you. And so I've really appreciated just getting to know you through social media, through ECA, and our hour together. That being said, time to go deep.
Okay.
Deeper. Once your time on this earth is done, Megan, and you're in heaven, God willing, what do you want to be remembered for by the people that you've left behind?
That is very deep. To be honest, I love the feedback that I'm getting about my personality and how I make people feel and how I make them feel seen. I make them feel heard. I make them feel really good with where they're at and not embarrassed with where they're at, to motivate them through spirit along with movement, obviously, but movement brings joy. So it makes me kind of emotional sometimes now that we have met so many people through ECA and that I haven't met in person, but that is the feedback that I'm getting, that you have this like contagious, energy. And when you step into a room, you're just electric. That is really great for me because I feel like I fought every room I was in as a dancer. And leaving LA really gave me that. So I'm really thankful to get that feedback. And what the mark I want to leave on the world is to make moves.
Mega one.
Yeah, mega ones.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be remembered for, how I made people feel and just for being a good person.
I love that. That is a recurring kind of theme on Networking with Nathaniel with a lot of the people. I've been blessed that I've had 100. Well, I've had a few repeat guests, so let's just call it 100 people I've talked to over the past couple of years, and like 98 of them have been an absolute pleasure. to talk to, and for the reasons that you just like. I just want to spread positivity, and I just want everybody to win and us all to make mega moves together. That's what this show was about. I started it selfishly, like in a way, is that I just wanted to talk to other cool people. Like I get to steal an hour of Megan's time right now.
Hey.
Or I get to borrow an hour of Megan's time. Yeah. So
I love it.
I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna kick you off. If you would hang out here just for a couple minutes as the recording uploads, I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Meagan Rawlings, everybody. There was a lot on this episode about her journey and how we can all learn from it. The big takeaway for me, and I try to take away so many things every episode, is like if we're not able to love ourselves in the present, nothing that we do in the future, all those things that we're trying to strive for that we think are going to bring us happiness, we're just going to get there and we're going to find something else that we say that's what's going to bring us happiness. If it's the six-pack abs you're looking for, or the bigger biceps, or the $1 million in the bank, or whatever it is, it's not going to get you to happiness. It's being happy now and being comfortable in your own skin and loving yourself. That's what this is all about. I mentioned at the top is like living this life of abundance. It's not, I mean, yes, there's money aspect to it, but it's the joy, it's the peace, it's the presence, it's your relationship abundance, it's your time, like it's all of it. And so when we can live that life of gratitude around the abundance that we do have, more abundance comes. The things that we appreciate. You may have heard me say that before. I love that quote. If you're still here live or in the future and you're not already subscribed, what the heck? Subscribe to the channel. Help us reach more people. The more people that we can reach and affect, like these conversations affect people. Somebody out there needs to hear Megan's story and understand that the skin that they're living in is the skin that God gave them, and it's one that they should love. I appreciate y'all for being here. Until next week, later.